Alright folks, we're back to 0-0s consistently now. It's almost as if we're starting the season and ending the season the same way. It just feels this way. And if it continues this way, chances are the season is going to be over by the end of the month. However, we're going to put that aside a minute because, again, it is a point on the road and it is another point. You know, it's better than losing points, it's better, you know, and all that stuff. I'd rather gain points, but at the same time, it feels frustrating because this feels like a game we could have got something from. But let's discuss that now, shall we? So, the first half was probably our best half in the game, with Watford not really in the game, and we made some decent attacking efforts with both our shots on target coming from the first half. The second half wasn't as glorious, as we had no more shots on target. We battled against the referee's decisions for most of the half, and had to put in a proper defensive shift to even stay in the game at times. So, looking at the stats, they had 12 shots, we had 11, so pretty tied up there, but they had more of their shots on target, and most of those came from the second half from memory, so yeah, they showed a bit more dominance in that half, and it really did go to show what they were capable of, get more towards then, but yeah, it wasn't exactly like a word display from either side, to be honest, but you know, it'll do. It got the job done. We got a point on the road against a team that we don't normally, well, you wouldn't expect to do well against based on the current flying colours, but yeah, it is what it is really. So, player ratings. This is one that I think many people have split opinions on, but we'll start off with Freddie Woodman, who was the birthday boy yesterday, playing out, and it even says there, impressive afternoon's work on his birthday. Kept out João Pedro a couple of times, and Keenan Davis, whatever that name is, in the second half with the smart reflex save. Woodman, I've given a bit of stick over the season because of his inability to position himself correctly or to catch most easy shots and, you know, favouring punching the ball away or, you know, palming it. But I think yesterday, he put in a real good shift in terms of keeping out the balls, positioning himself well, catching the balls. He actually caught quite a few. Yeah, you know, a Freddie Woodman like that is a Freddie Woodman I can understand why, you know, teams like, as you can see down there, Rangers would like to take. So yeah, very impressed with Woodman yesterday. So story in 8, assured performance from him at the back, dealt well with everything. A powerful and pacey Watford front line threw at him. So yeah, that's pretty much the case. DRB a 7, I thought he was brilliant, backed up his performance in the midweek with another good shift. One error in the second half, which allowed Davis to run through on goal, but did well aside from that, I can agree. Cunningham a 7, his experience shown through all games, solid in defending, in the right positions and making wise choices on the ball. Made a big tackle in the first half as Saul looked set to break. Now, I'm going to stop a minute and check my microphone's on. Yes, because I thought I turned it off. Potts a 6, good battle with Sema, whatever you say, tidy enough on the ball, defended well, just lacked that end product going forward, especially in the first half when there was space to run into on the break. Whiteman a 6, back in the side after 3 matches out. Pedro asked him questions all game, but the number 4 stuck to his task and improved as the game went on. Of course, he's going to be a wee bit rusty, but that's, you know, I think he got on well. Brown a 7, decent display from the skipper who led by example in terms of energy and intensity, I can agree there. Was constantly hunting the ball down, reading the game and applying the pressure. However, he did also make me go a bit like, at times, especially, you know, with a few of the lazy balls that he played or reluctancy to run in places. I'd give him a 6 personally. I'd give Alvaro a 7 instead. He did well in the first half, carrying a threat and looked positive in the Watford's half. Drifted out of the game in the second when he appeared to tire. Saw a shot saved in the first half and defended well again. Yeah, his first half attacking performance was very good, and it's a shame he hasn't scored. I think this lad will be due a goal eventually, and if he leaves Preston without a goal, I'll be very upset. Johnson a 6, made a bright start to the game, was busy throughout, but sometimes guilty of wanting too long on the ball. Yeah, made way with 15 minutes to go and will be disappointed to have not unlocked Watford, I agree. Evans a 5, could not fault his graft up there, but his execution let him down in the final third. Got into some decent positions, but sent shots wide when teammates were up in support. But at least he's had those shots, because usually people don't have the bravery to take these shots. But yeah, sometimes he could have maybe worked that a bit better. Parrott a 7, really. He used the ball well and looked after it when played into his feet. Frustration for him in the first half, with the number 15 making smart runs off the ball but rarely being picked out, was wiped out by Porteous in the second half and left baffled at the referee's decision. Of course, he jumped to his feet and wanted to argue with the referee, as you would want to do, but at the same time, if he would have just got up like the way, he shot up straight away. If he would have just carried on, he still could have applied the pressure and won the ball back to have a shot, but instead he wanted to argue with the referee. If the referee was going to give the free kick, he would have blew the whistle straight away, but that didn't happen. So when a player goes up after going down and the referee's not giving anything, when they stand still and just shout and wave their arms around, I don't get it. Just keep chasing the ball. It's still right there. You've still got a chance to keep the ball. Why don't you do that? Set pieces are not the do-all and end-all. It is frustrating. I do pity him a little bit because, I don't know about the challenge. Are you good?
Yeah.
I don't know about the challenge because I haven't watched it back yet, but based on pictures I've seen and slowing footage I've seen in clips and whatnot here and there on Twitter, I don't know. I'm still very 50-50 on it, but you can let me know what you think about that. Cannon a 6, added the freshness to the attack, tried to get himself in the game. Had he gambled with a run at the end, he could have had a tap in from Diaby's low cross, which is very true, and it's a shame he weren't there. I do think Cannon should have started this game based on Watford's pace and Cannon's pace, because the rest of the team just does not have that pace. Woodburn is 6, got 15 minutes in the tank, played a few passes, but most of his work came off the ball. As per usual, Woodburn didn't do much. Ledson a 6, introducing the final few to add some bite into the midfield and just to basically keep it tied up. Now, the gaffer's reaction. On the performance and the draw, definitely a hard-fought point. You only have to look at the squad of players they've got, what they've been doing, and the goals that they score. We knew we'd have to be solid and resolute today, and I thought the game plan from minute 1 to 96 was fantastic. The lads brought into fruition. We had a couple of chances, and on another day you potentially score, but there were 2 opportunities for us really, and I think we were undone by a decision that should have been a little different. I won't go into it much because I'd rather talk about the performance of the group, which was fantastic again. To come here and get a point when probably no one would have given us an opportunity shows we are a good team on our day and that we can keep the back door shut while creating opportunities. We just didn't have that cutting edge to put it in the back of the net today. It's just like the start of the season. On Parrott, it is a foul. Just the foul. I said to the ref coming off, I thought your inconsistency with the fouls wasn't great today, but I shook his hand. The last time he did that was against the Birmingham ref, and he was red carded for it, so thankfully he wasn't red carded for this one. It was for both teams, not just us. What Troy should have done is stayed down, rolled over and screamed, which is true because then it probably would have been given. And then the Ched one, he skipped it past him, and whether it's minimal contact or not, it's a foul. In my eyes, we had 2 clear opportunities where we were through into the 18-yard box and were undone by decisions. I don't care what you say, the 2 of them are fouls. I didn't get myself into trouble, but the way I look at it, they are 2 fouls. Fair enough. On a clean sheet and another defensive solidity, you have moments and challenges in the season which are tough times and you have to get through them. I think we have done that and to go 5 unbeaten with the teams played is pleasing. Yeah, you'd obviously like more points, but trust me, I'm not complaining with the run we've gone on. I think the away performances have been fantastic all season away anyway, and we are starting to replicate that at home. Don't jinx it, please. To come here and collect a point, I am pleased. On Story's performance, I thought he was fantastic today. Saw went from one side to his side, and he saw him coming over and thought, oh no, said Low. They have all been solid and resolute, and it starts from the front. Really pleased, even the lads who came on the pitch knowing their jobs. On the lack of the cutting edge, I said to the group at half time, we didn't realise how much time we had. When we had played against good teams and good players, they let you have the ball, and we knew that. We just didn't penetrate forward enough. But in fairness to the group, we changed how we attacked a little bit today. We didn't want to be undone by a counter. So where we normally attack with 6, if you like, and defend with 4, we didn't. We attacked with 4 or 5, with 2 screening the back lads. We have to be mindful that they are a good team and have to show respect for that. But then in the second half, we wanted to help each other a bit and commit another body because they weren't really hurting us as such. We dealt with that well, so yeah, we tried a bit more in the second half, but they bring 2 top players on and it changes everything. I said to the lads at half time that they'd had the advantage, but the game is never the same in 2 halves. We knew they would potentially make a change, and when we saw the 2 changes, we knew they'd have the impetus. This is a word he's used a lot, and every time I see it, I always forget what it means. The force or energy in with the body moves. Okay, I need to remember that. Potty went down with a whack at one stage, which was probably a good time to go down. It had the pressure, but our lads withstood that and opened the game a little bit. We were all discussing this as well while watching the match, saying Potts has gone down to just like calm the game down a bit, which was good. I thought that's good time wasting. I thought it was a good game, really, both teams trying to win it. It was stop-start a little bit too much, probably because of the decisions made, but ultimately we knew they would come out and have a right good go. Now, you could argue the same for Coventry and this game. If we would have put that a little bit more percentage into our performance, we could have won it, but it is what it is. On the travelling fans, they sang right the way through, didn't they? And Watford fans might not like me saying this, but they kept them quiet. There was only one voice we could hear, and that was us. A big thank you to them, and we send them home with a point, relatively happy. Coming all this way and paying their hard-earned money to travel home and away, they were fantastic. It means a lot, and you see them staying at the end to appreciate the boys. We are doing everything we possibly can to send them home happy. Yep, and that's the one thing I love the most about this manager, his relationship and his feeling contention towards the fans. Fair enough, like 3-4 weeks ago, he was like trying to slyly slag us off, saying like you're being dickheads, you know, swearing at us and abusing us. But you know, football fans are only so patient, and I can understand why Ryan Lord. I discussed this in the last episode of Matchday Report. I can understand why Ryan Lord did get worked up by this. He said he went home after the Wigan game and just completely had a breakdown, a mental fucking breakdown at home, and he's trying to hide that from his children. But there's only so much you can do as a manager. At the end of the day, you know, what more do you want him to do? He's trying his best with a team that clearly isn't ready for the Premier League, and people want us in the Premier League because that's just what the Preston fans want. We have to keep realistic, and we've got to keep our expectations on the ground. He's not even gotten through one full season yet. Let's just see how this goes and assess from there, please, before we start throwing any more abuse at someone who could potentially be the man for the job. I know we say this all the time, but listen, you don't know unless you give them the time. So let's give him the time and let's remain a bit patient. You can tell he's getting. It's just a visual observation. It might not be the case, but based on body language and people, you know, like the stereotype of people growing out a beard, Ryan Lowe not having a shave to keep this beard off his face, it's probably getting to him a little bit. It's probably getting to him, but that's just me trying to make a shitty observation. Anyways, my points to make. Parrott wasn't really an attacking threat for most of the game, in my opinion, but he did do most other things well. The lazy balls cost us in possession most times, which we did play a lot of these lazy balls. Controversial referee, and Ryan Lowe swearing on I follow was the best thing I had seen all day. I can't find a clip of it for the life of me, but essentially after Troy went down in that challenge, you can just see him stood in his box shouting fucking shit onto the pitch at the referee. It was hilarious. You could make it out completely. Yeah, he doesn't often swear on the telly, but when he does, it's funny. But yeah. So the pros, I've got two. I've got 2 pros, 2 cons. We've got the good first half display and an individual brilliant performance from Bambo and Alvaro, in my opinion. And the cons were we had a not so good second half, and the ref stopped us more than Watford did. And if the referee's getting in contention in terms of playing you forward more than the opposition is, there might be a problem there, so we've got to sort that out. But regardless, let's see this table, shall we? Burnley remain at the top. Sheffield United are slowly losing their footing as Middlesbrough are creeping up the table and are likely going to be battling for the instant promotion alongside Sheffield United now. Blackburn, again, they are still in and around the area of Sheffield United, but this isn't... All these teams getting up here, it isn't them, winning the games. I mean, it is, but it's not always them winning the games. It's also Sheffield United falling off form. They have lost 3 in the last 5, and they haven't been playing to the standard they have been playing all season. Whereas Burnley are also starting to slow down with draws, but they're so many points clear at the moment that it doesn't really matter as much as it does with these guys. In terms of us, obviously we've had 1 win in the last 5, but we haven't lost any of the last 5, so that's a good sign, I guess. It's still 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 points in the last 5, which is better than what we was picking up like 5 weeks ago, but... And yeah, well, what more can you say? I've only just realised I've pressed full screen and you haven't been able to see this table, and I've been looking at the table the whole time. But this is the current table. And Watford are now 9th. We are in 12th place, the mundane mid-table as always, with 47 points at a goal difference of -8, which isn't that good, of course. So 1 win can take us a bit higher, 2 wins will take us even higher. But to push into the playoffs now is going to be incredibly difficult. Because if you look at us, 47 points. 6th place sitting on 55. Oh, excuse me. That's an 8-point difference, if I'm doing that math correctly in my head. And to get 8 points while these teams that are in flying colours drop points, it's not easy. And we've got our work cut out for us if we want to make this playoff push again. Unlike, before the break when we were sat comfortably in 6th place, it's very different because obviously now, like I said, these teams have found this footing and everything's going more like an actual football league table now. And teams are going to be contending with each other for these, certain places. I can genuinely see us finishing 9th, like I predicted all the way back at the start of the season in my championship prediction video, which was a shit video, but you got an idea of what I thought about Preston going into the season. I thought we were going to finish 9th. Even when we was all partying after Reading away when we were 6th place, I still think we were going to finish 9th. We're 12th now, and I do think we'll pick up some points, but we're not going to be able to get those crucial points to get us into the top 6, because just looking at the form of these teams in the top 6, it doesn't look likely. Middlesbrough, fantastic form, catching Sheffield United. Blackburn, fantastic form. They're inconsistent, but the form at the minute's fantastic, and they're catching up to Middlesbrough. Luton are only a point behind Blackburn. Norwich have shot back up the table. Millwall are being that dark horse and they're looming around this area. Coventry are also looming in the area, considering they was at the bottom of the table at the start of the season. Watford are in good form. Sunderland are in decent form. Same with West Brom, but obviously it's not looking brilliant right now for the both of them. But they will. I do think these two teams are going to swoop back eventually. It's just every other team underneath us. That's where you have to start asking questions, because of course Hull is one of those ishy teams. Same with Bristol and Reading. Stoke on the day can be great, as we saw against Sunderland, but at the same time they're not also a word team. Swansea again very inconsistent. Rotherham, it's one of those teams that'll survive. Birmingham, you can see they're not doing great. QPR have had a massive downfall. Cardiff again, they're not doing too well. And then the bottom 3 with Huddersfield, Wigan and Blackpool. These 3 teams are most definitely going down. Let's be honest. But if there's any of these teams that'll survive, it's Blackpool, but only just. And if that happens, then that's pretty sad. But if it doesn't happen at the same time, at least we get to play them again next season. But yeah, the table at the minute is looking very, very contentious. Unlike what it was like during the season where everyone's just scrapping out for the top 6. Now everyone's scrapping out to survive relegation. But while the teams that are above, you could say 8th, are battling for promotion. So it's going to be interesting to see how the season finishes. But if you ask me, we'll finish 9th, and that'll be decided at the end of the month. Our next game is Cardiff at home. Yep, Cardiff at home next weekend. And then we have Rotherham away, which will be an interesting one. And then, of course, we've got Middlesbrough away that following weekend, which is our Gentry Day game, which we're going to get fucking battered in. We'll have 2 weeks off, and then the fated game, Blackpool at home. That'll be a good one. So yeah, thanks for tuning in to Matchday Report once more. I've got a couple of videos brainstorming in the old brain at the minute. I don't know if they're going to come into fruition, but it is what it is if they don't. But if they do, I'll be talking about that on Twitter soon enough. Make sure you follow me there. But yeah, of course, like every YouTuber tells you to do, obviously subscribe, hit the like button and all that stuff. Everyone says it's for the algorithm, which it's true, it is, but people don't understand the algorithm. So the best way to describe what the impacts of a like and a subscribe do is the subscribe helps the channel grow, whereas the like helps the channel be recommended to people. That's how that works, and it helps the video get out there more. So I'd much more favour you giving a like on the video than a subscribe, but if you want to do both, that's also fantastic. Even commenting helps get the video into people's recommendations, because it puts traffic to the video and stuff like that. So let me know your opinions on the match, of course. And yeah, before you go, make sure to check out the links in the description to not only the Twitter, the shop, if you want to do anything to support me a little bit extra, and the other channels I have linked in the description, because they are people I know that I do back. Obviously, they might not upload the way I do or be consistent in the way I upload, but just showing some support to these people would be nice. But yeah, that is it from me today. Thanks for tuning in. Again, I had to do my little waffle at the end, I always do. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, and I will see you all for the next Matchday Report, if not another video that I somehow pull out my ass in the meantime. And go watch that Supporters Discuss on Ryan Law, because that has some very good opinions on our current situation. But yeah, I'll let you go now.